Coming up on this week's travel show.
I dress up and hit the road here in Japan.
We're going through the most fashionable part of Tokyo, and I'm dressed as a flat plumber.
Lucy gets the lowdown on travelling without too much plastic.
Cheers.
And we meet the woman who lives all alone in America's smallest town.
Everybody else has either passed away or moved away, and this is where I chose to stay.
Starting off this week in Japan, the home of video gaming. It's hard to believe that it's a full 40 years since the Space Invaders game was invented here. And recently, Tokyo celebrated that anniversary with a special exhibition and giant video wall where today's generation of gamers can test their retro skills. But Space Invaders isn't the only iconic game to have been created here in Japan.
And tucked away in the back streets of Shibuya, just 5 minutes from the famous crossing, I've come to find a guided tour with a difference.
I guess the best way to describe what I'm about to experience is a self-drive video game simulation with some sightseeing thrown in.
Konnichiwa.
Welcome to Marika. Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Booking?
Yes.
Okay, please come inside.
Gosh, this brings back memories from my childhood. Yossi, Luigi, and Mario. It's got to be Mario. How do I look? I feel like Michelin Mario.
We have the key. It doesn't start the engine, it just turns the lights on.
Marika have been running these go-kart tours, taking in many of the tourist attractions of central Tokyo for several years now. And to take part, you'll first have to show your ID and driving license from your home country. Then there's a compulsory safety briefing.
When driving, always one straight line, guys, okay? Always one straight line. Now, if the tour guide does one, it means you just stop in one straight line, okay? If the tour guide does two, you simply come up behind, same lane, always the same lane, side by side. See the two go-karts behind me back there, how they're side by side and nice and close to each other? That's the stopping formation we want to see when the tour guide does two. So it's going to look like this, so 2, 4, 6.
Is it possible to stall it, or it's impossible?
It's impossible to stall it. It's automatic. So just in the beginning, the engine can be a bit cold. So before we depart, it might cut out before we depart. You just start it again.
There's lots to think about, like how to drive the car for a start, and I feel really exposed being so low. And then I've got to think about formations. Oh my gosh. I'm not the best driver, you know. Right now, this costume is the least of my worries. I've got my foot on the brake. Where's the key? John, where's the key?
Ah, here.
This is ridiculous. Oh my God!
Even though it's a Sunday morning and the traffic is lighter, it takes a while to get used to driving a vehicle that feels so low and exposed.
Slightly vulnerable, but I think I'm getting the hang of driving this car now. Oh my gosh. Do you see how close I came to a taxi? We're going through the most fashionable part of Tokyo, and I'm dressed as a flat plumber.
Little chance of anyone wanting to copy my outfit here in Harajuku. But Nintendo are reportedly unhappy with their trademark Super Mario dungarees and cap being used by the tours. There's been talk of legal action, but the subtle name change from Mario Kart to Maricar and the inclusion of some other cartoon and video game characters seems to be keeping the lawyers at bay.
We're coming up to the crossing. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going through Shibuya Crossing.
Although some of Tokyo's taxi drivers say that the tours can be disruptive and dangerous. Johnny tells me that he has supervised over 2,000 tours without any serious accidents. But several cab drivers we met still had concerns.
やっぱり何ですか大きくないしちっちゃいしちょこちょこ走ってるんでね、よく見るのはスマホの操作をしながらね録画しながら運転してる。
なんかあんまり外国人の人とかそんな交通ルールがよく分かってないで走ってるまあ集団でいるんですけどね。
Last year, a record number of almost 29 million people came to Japan. And as Tokyo gears up to host the Olympic Games in 2 years' time, the authorities are keen to see the Maricar tours continue, but they're looking into how safe they are.
昨年春以降、都内をはじめ公道カートが巻き込まれる事故が、複数発生しました。このため国土交通省では、公道カートの非視認性であるとか、あと衝突時のドライバーの安全性に課題があると考え、昨年6月から有識者による検討会を立ち上げ、公道カートの安全対策を検討してまいりました。
New regulations now mean that modifications will have to be made to the go-karts. And it's hoped that repositioning tail lights and fitting better back and head protection and mudguards will provide safety for kart drivers and other road users and pedestrians. Tokyo is such a hotbed of trends and innovation, and as the birthplace of video games, it would be a shame to see an end to these tours. So let's hope that the new safety regulations will help keep them on the road here.
That was so much fun. I really had a good time. Once I started to relax and got used to driving this car, it was crazy. I can't believe they let you drive this on the streets of Tokyo. I really felt like I was in a video game most of the time. You know, it was crazy, and I was so close to cars, I was so low down. But it was really fun. I felt like a celebrity. Everyone was waving at you. You know, it was a great way to see the city.
And if you're thinking of heading to Tokyo anytime soon,
Here's the travel show guide of some other things you could see or do.
public transport here in Tokyo is clean, efficient, and easy to use, with signs in Japanese and English on all trains, stations, and buses. But if you find the language barrier an issue, there are now plenty of reliable translation apps that you can download to your smartphone. If you're flying to or from Narita, though, one tip worth remembering is not to take a cab, because the cost can be eye-watering, so jump on board one of the regular trains that run between the airport and the city centre instead. The end of March and the start of April are peak times for travel in Japan, as locals and tourists flock to see the start of spring and the burst of colour brought in by the annual cherry blossom season. Here in Tokyo, one of the best places to take in the spectacle is at Shinjuku Goen, a national garden which is just a short walk away from Shinjuku Station. One piece of good news for travellers is that nobody here in Japan expects you to leave a tip. Providing good service in Japan is all part of the code of hospitality, called omotenashi. So there's no need to give your waiter, taxi driver, or porter anything other than what it says on the bill. If you do, there's every chance that they might run after you to return their tip. And if you're looking for something a little different when it comes to taking travel pics, once you've visited all the usual tourist sites here in Tokyo, why not head to nearby Yokohama or Kawasaki to jump on board an industrial photography night cruise? You'll be in good company because this craze for taking atmospheric stills of towering smokestacks, factories and treatment plants, called Kojo Moe, which translates into factory passion, is growing here in Japan. Join in and you'll go home with some striking pictures that are a world away from the usual cherry blossom and kimono snaps.
写真はねちょっとやっぱり難しいです。でもオレンジ色の光ですかね。光ってるのはすごい綺麗ですよね。なんとなくこう非日常的な幻想的な感じがします。
なんでだろう。なんか普通の人って多分綺麗な夜景が好きみたいな感じなんですけど。
Stay tuned to the travel show because coming up after the break. Lucy's here with some tips on how to travel the planet without using too much plastic. And we meet the woman in America who has a town all to herself.
I am the mayor and I am the town board, basically, but then I don't worry about elections because there's not much competition.
So don't go away.
We've been hearing a lot in the news lately about sustainability, from coffee cup recycling schemes to carrier bag bans. But being greener when you travel can be tricky.
Disposable water bottles like this are easy to fill at home without a second thought. But what if you're in a new and unfamiliar city? Where do you go to get clean and free water?
Some places around the world are trying to tackle the issue by providing more drinking water, with the hope of cutting down on the number of single-use bottles that are thrown away.
But if you're travelling internationally, it's worth firing up the WeTap app that provides a map of nearby drinking fountains to help you stay hydrated on the move. I really like the fact that it's community-based. So if you stumble across a drinking fountain that isn't identified on the map, you simply tap this button here and add it to the platform.
In London, a network of drinking points is being rolled out in summer.
Here in Borough Market, new fountains are already up and running. And rather than a single-use disposable bottle, I've got this to try out.
The Hydrate Spark 2.0 water bottle connects to an app on your phone via Bluetooth.
So once it's all set up and you're connected to the app, a sensor attached to the lid is able to detect how much water you're drinking. You can set daily goals based on the information you tell it about yourself, and it will glow to give you a gentle reminder when it's time to hydrate. However, in order for it to keep tabs on how much you're drinking, it needs to be placed on a flat surface every time you take a swig. Great if you're sitting at your desk all day, not so much if you're at the gym or on the move. But I like the fact that you can tell it where you are in the world, so if you're in a hot country, for example, it will increase the amount of times it tells you to drink.
And it's not just cutting down on plastic bottles that will help reduce your carbon footprint. I've popped in to see tech expert Andrew to show me some eco-friendly apps to use on my next trip.
How are you?
One of the ones that I'd recommend if you're just starting to look is going on Green Globe. It's a list of different hotels, resorts, meeting spaces, attractions that are all eco-friendly.
And that's a pretty extensive list.
It's a pretty extensive list, and so let's tap on Jamaica.
To be in Jamaica right now.
To be in Jamaica right now. And so, yeah, you can see that there's a list of all of the different ones here.
There's quite a lot of resorts there.
Quite a lot of different resorts. And so you tap on the one that you're interested in, and it tells you a bit about the resort, but also a bit about what it does to help the environment. The next one is Olio.
So I've heard a lot about this app.
Tell me more.
It's super cool. This is one that is great for if you're traveling, but kind of great for if you're not traveling too. Like, it's just a brilliant app. And so it is all about reducing food waste. And so it means that you can give away food that you don't need, but also get food that people are giving away. So if you are planning a trip and you look in your fridge and you're like, oh, I've still got a carton of milk and a fruit bowl full of fruit and all that, and it's just going to go to waste, you just put it on the app and someone will come and collect it. And the other way around is that if you're in a city and you're like, oh, I don't really want to pay for a meal or whatever, you can look on the app and see who is giving away food near you. And the last one I would recommend is Spin Lister. And so Spin Lister is basically, you think of it as like Airbnb, but for bikes in your local area that you can hire. So that, I've searched Los Angeles. And so you just search your local area and find what's available. And so there are road bikes, mountain bikes, they do surf gear, ski gear, all sorts of stuff. And so it usually works out less than around $20 a day. And so it's much, much cheaper than getting taxis everywhere. And you are eco-friendly because you are riding a bike.
And finally, if you can't start the day without a caffeine fix, even when you're away on holiday, then the Paquito cup could help. Reusable coffee cups are nothing new, and some shops offer a discount if you bring your own, but it can be pretty annoying and bulky carrying one of those around. What's great about the Paquito is that it squishes down really small and extends to 3 different sizes. It's a little fiddly to pull out, but once fully extended, you've got a full-size cup. Regular Americano, please. Cheers.
Well, to finish this week, we're off to the vast rolling prairies of America's Midwest to meet a woman in Nebraska who pays taxes to herself, runs the only business in town, and wins every local election for mayor hands down because she is the only person still living there. And that's now made her something of a tourist attraction in her own right.
I live at Monterey, Nebraska. I'm the only one that lives here in town. Everybody else has either passed away or moved away, and this is where I chose to stay. My parents moved to a farm about a quarter of a mile out of town here when I was about 1.5 years old. Been here ever since. It'll be 14 years now next month that I've been here by myself.
When we get to this corner, then over that way, there's well, it looks like a rusty building sitting in those trees, and that was the town jail at one time. And these were just family pictures we had taken, and my array of them here is pretty much immediate family. That's our wedding picture. And then this is my German grandparents and my parents, and then this was a family picture we had. So that's me. So basically, all of us lived here in Monterey at one time.
I have a daughter and a son. They have both lived away more or less ever since I got out of school. So people say, don't they worry about you? And I said, yes, they do worry about me, but they also respect the fact that this is what I want to do. The post office and the little grocery store closed about the same time that we bought this in '71. So that kind of put us into the only business. I open up the bar at 9. There's trucks coming and salesmen coming and customers coming and some just coming to visit and have a cup of coffee. And they leave messages for one another. They call to see if somebody's here. It's just sort of a meeting place, a hub, and I think everybody feels welcome to come. Everyone needs a place like that, I guess, including myself.
I needed this type of a vehicle to haul things for work and what have you. Being I'm the only one that lives in town, I thought it'd be kind of neat to show it off, I guess, Monterey one. So I don't go anywhere that people don't recognize me, that's for sure. It was a very active church until the middle 1960s. I used to go to church and Sunday school there. My father's funeral was the last funeral held there in March of 1960. This is Broad Street in front of my bar. It was laid out. There were houses all around here. Yeah, this is a new flag. It hasn't been up all that long. It's beautiful.
Yeah, being I'm the only one here in town, there are other responsibilities besides the bar. I am the mayor and I am the town board, basically, but then I don't worry about elections because there's not much competition. I get kidded about it some, but I tell them, well, sorry, you're not in the city limits. You can't come in and vote. So.
And here's Rudy's library. Got all the books that he had accumulated. Yeah, these were Rudy's books that he got all put in. He wasn't able to put them in, but they got put in for him. This on the wall over there is a little plaque that his son had made for him. I think it's a great memoriam to him because he was such a book person, and he would be so proud of it, and he'd be so proud of anybody that comes to borrow some.
The town of Monowai, and I guess to a certain extent myself, we have become a household word. I don't know, I guess people kind of find it interesting or fascinating or something. And I have people that have been here from 47 of the states, and I've had from 41 or 2 foreign countries. You know, and when you get to be 84 years old, there's a comfort in kind of knowing everybody, and around here, somebody's always checking on me and looking after me and, you know, doing things for me. And so maybe they got me spoiled because they kind of keep track of me and look after me. And yeah, I really don't have any desire to live anywhere else. I'm perfectly happy right where I'm at now.
Well, that's it for the travel show this week. Coming up next week, we look back at our travels so far this year, including the time Henry headed to Uluru, and our newbie Mike Corey got this gentle introduction to life here on the travel show.
It's intense. There's gunshots, there's sirens. This bridge is totally not stable. And there's people crawling on the ground. I don't even know what's going on.
Well, I hope you can join us for that. And don't forget, if you want to follow us on the road in real time, you can sign up to us on social media. But until next time, from all of us here in Tokyo, it's goodbye.